Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for coming this evening to learn about luxury river cruising with AmaWaterways. I want to thank Jackie and John Matthews for inviting me to share my stories with you on AmaWaterways and this fabulous itinerary that they have group space on. They are going to be hosting Melodies of the Danube, escorting their group on September the 13th of 2021. So I'm just going to have an absolute delightful evening with you. We're going to talk about AmaWaterways. I'm going to walk you through a day in the life on Ama, tell you a little bit about us, and then I'm going to walk you through this fabulous, wonderful itinerary. I've been with AmaWaterways for 11 years and have done all of our itineraries. And I'd like to say that in actuality, Melodies of the Danube is the most requested itinerary in all of the rivers of Europe. It really is just such an incredible opportunity for you to be able to visit 5 countries in 7 nights and to be able to see not only the world-class cities of Budapest and Vienna and Prague, but also to be able to see the fairy tale towns along the river. And they are so delightful and so special in their ways. So it is great fun for me to be able to do this with you this evening. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is a map of Melodies of the Danube. And I'm a map lady. It's really great fun to know where you are when you're in Europe. And we're going to have you come in. And if you take the 2 nights in Budapest, that is wonderful. So on the Danube here, we're going to come up. And so you would be in Hungary. We're then going to come to Bratislava. And Bratislava is in Slovakia. So that is another pin in your map. We're going to cross over into Austria. And you're going to have several stops in Austria, from Vienna to up the Vachau Valley to Melk, Linz, Passau. In Passau, you've come over into Germany, and you're going to end your cruise in the town of Vilshoffen, which is very special to us, and I'll tell you when I get there on the slide. If you take our land program, we are going to take you through the magnificent town of Regensburg on the way to Prague, where you will spend 3 nights. So in Budapest, it is one of certainly my very favorite. I've been traveling Hungary for 25 years, and Budapest is this fabulous city where the Danube runs through the town and splits it to the side of Pest, which you are seeing with the Parliament building here, to the other side, where you can see in the foreground of the Buda side. And the difference is on the Pest side, it is kind of what they call on the plain, if you will. It's kind of a flatter topography. And you have the magnificent state buildings. You will have the wonderful hotels, what fabulous restaurants, great shopping, the major monuments of historical significance, or many of them are on this side as well. So it really is the pulsating side of Budapest, but also on the wonderful side of the Buda side is where you have the palace, where it is more residential on this side. It is very rolling hills, and you will visit the Fisherman's Bastion along this area and also St. Stephen's Cathedral. So you'll have, the tours are going to include both sides of the river. When you're looking for things to buy, absolutely buy paprika in Hungary. It is the finest in the world. You can buy it in wonderful places. And you know what? Buy a bunch of it, because freeze it and it'll keep forever. So it's really great. You then were coming up the river and we're going to Vienna. Now, Vienna is just a world-class city, to say the least. It is a city filled with the most magnificent buildings, such as the Hofburg Palace, as you see here. It also is about Liszt. It is about Mozart. It is about Beethoven. They have a fabulous opera house. They just do some amazing opportunities for you to be able to do. We do a coach tour that will take you kind of around what they call the ring. And you'll be able to see these magnificent buildings that we're talking about. They're going to be Baroque. They're going to be all kinds of different architecture. And then we're going to bring you into the old part of the city and do a wonderful walking tour as well, which is really great. Then we're going to let you go and have fun on your own. While you're in Vienna, if you have been there before, you might want to take one of our hiking tours or one of our bike tours as well. Those are certainly offered to you. And it's just nice to get yourself acclimated into this magnificent city. Or maybe you'd like to go out to Schönbrunn Palace. And this is the summer palace of the Hapsburgs. The one you saw on the slide before was more of a winter palace. You might as well have 2 or 3, actually. And the summer palace is absolutely beautiful. Gardens are fabulous. And you would tour Schönbrunn, and it is furnished. So it's great fun to be able to go into the palace as well. We then are going to come up on the Danube into the Vachau Valley. Now the Vachau is where now we're going to get into the fairy tale towns. And what's so incredibly wonderful about this is that the Vachau is like being in the Black Forest. You have the wonderful rolling mountains and you have the darling, fabulous towns along the way. It has wonderful particular wines from this area, as well as it's known for apricots. Amazing that there's a certain apricot that is grown in this area that is like no other. And we even do one of our special interest tours for an apricot tasting. So great fun on the Vachau. And it's going to bring you to the fairy tale town of Dürnstein. Dürnstein is just absolutely lovely. It is a walk town. We dock right here along the front of the town that you see here, and we do a wonderful walking tour. There are no cars in the town, which makes it just absolutely fabulous. And where you see this wonderful steeple of the church here is called the Stiftskirche. And the one thing about it that you will never forget is that is robin's egg blue. When you come up to the river and you see that, it is like, oh my gosh, what a magic place to be able to be. Hey, if you didn't want to walk through town, we are doing a hike up to the castle. And the castle is a ruin, but it was one of the places where Richard the Lionhearted was imprisoned. And boy, I tell you, he was in a lot of these places. So always at the top of the hill, but you can get the most beautiful, amazing pictures when you come into that area. So Dürnstein is just very, very special. Coming up the Wachau all the way up to Wiesenkirchen. And what this is going to do for you, this is a tour not to be missed, please. This is the Benedictine Monastery at Melk. It has been, and this is the town of Melk, it has been a working monastery for 960 years. We are going to bring you up by coach because it's quite high on the hill there. And it has a fantastic museum. It has a most amazing library you could possibly imagine. It also is a school for the people, the kids that are around the area. So it is a working school. And then we're going to bring you through the church. Now, I don't know if you've been to Rome and St. Peter's, which has an amazing amount of gold in it, but I would wager to say with you that this church has as much gold as St. Peter's. It is absolutely incredible to be in the middle of the Vachau Valley with all these wonderful little towns and to have so much wealth in gold. You actually can even ask your guide if you'd like to walk back to the ship. There's a way to get out of Melk and down into the town. It has like one street, as you can see here in the foreground, and you can walk back to the ship. So that's kind of fun to do as well. And look at the library. Isn't it beautiful? It has thousands and thousands of books. It is, I think, about 2 or 3 different rooms, and all the ceilings are painted. It is simply being in an art museum. It's just gorgeous. Then we're going to come up the river to Linz. Now, Linz is a very special town for us for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's a media arts town of Austria. Very high tech. It's their own little Silicon Valley, if you will. And we do kind of a media arts tour where steps off the vessel here as you come into the main square in the downtown area. It's just absolutely delightful. By the time you're going to have all of the geraniums hanging out of the windows, in those beautiful window boxes. It's really, really gorgeous. So to do a morning tour is great, or you can take a bike tour as well. However, on this day, we're going to have two extremely special cruises that, not cruises, I'm sorry, but shore excursions for you to take advantage of. One of them is going to Salzburg. Salzburg, Austria, is just a world-class town, to say the least, a very wealthy town at one point, and it still is, it is very comfortable, to say the least. It is in the Julian Alps. When you think of this area, this is all Sound of Music. This is Mozart, by all means. And you have the castle on the hill, which is called Hohensalzburg. And Salz means salt. So there's a huge salt mine under the castle, which is kind of fun. But the shopping here, the wonderful Mirabelle gardens, the things that you will see here are just absolutely exquisite. Now, if you might have been to Salzburg before, you might consider my favorite. And I have spent a lot of time in Salzburg. So I choose to go into the Czech Republic. We have a tour to a town called Český Krumlov. Now, this is a really interesting little town, and you will feel the difference coming into the Czech Republic from Austria. It's just really, really wonderful. This little medieval town is in the mountains, and it was never overrun by the Ottomans or the Romans or anybody. It just never got seen, so it wasn't destroyed. It was never marauded, if you will. So the town is absolutely delightful, has a wild and crazy history, a wonderful, wonderful palace, actually, which is has gorgeous gardens around it, which you will visit as you walk up through the town. It is a walled, fortified city with this lovely little kind of, I guess you would call it a river. Beautiful shopping area, has wonderful, wonderful restaurants for you to try. And it's just a really special place. And to come into the Czech Republic and do this is great fun. So I know that's a hard thing for you to be able to choose, but I know you'll make the right decision for yourself. And then we're going to end your lovely cruise in Vilshoffen. And Vilshoffen is where we, well, here's the story. We are the only river cruise line in Vilshoffen. And the reason for that is because we, Rudy knows the mayor, and we are the only river cruise line that stops here. So it's just great fun. And the town does an Oktoberfest for our guests through the entire season. So you'll be able to enjoy Oktoberfest in Vilshoffen with us. It's an absolutely gorgeous tent right off of the vessel. There is a beer queen, as you can see here. We're doing all the beers and the pretzels and the papa, the music and the dancing. We have a ball. So it's just great fun for you to end your at least the cruise part in Vilshoffen. So ladies and gentlemen, the rivers and the wine, they continue to flow. It's been my great pleasure to be able to walk you through this wonderful Melodies of the Danube group that Jackie and John Matthews are going to be escorting. Thank you for listening to my stories. I look forward to having you come on AmaWaterways and really have a vacation of a lifetime. Thank you so much.